Hey, what's happening, everybody? I'm Tommy, and you're on the lifeboat. I hope everybody's having a good night. I am. I'm having a decent night. Let's say hi to some people and see who's here, shall we? All right, let's back up, y'all. Yarn Prepper, good to see you. By the way, we are really early. I launched about a half an hour early tonight. Um, there were some things I had to take care of. I was Why are we the only ones here? Says Jennifer Folsom. Because I'm a half hour early, and most people are expecting this at a half an hour later than this. But had some stuff I had to take care of today. The announcements will go out, and in a few minutes it'll start catching up. You watch. In fact, booyah! There it goes. JCP, good to see you. Dan C, what's happening? Jennifer Folsom, Seventh Son. Shannon Smith, good to see you, Shannon Smith. It was great fun today. Truly. If you guys missed it, I was on earlier today over with Bacon Bits. Had a great time over there. Did an interview, and a lot of questions that I've never been asked. A lot of really interesting questions. It was a very fun discussion. Actually, had a really good time. Yorkie Mom 65, good to see you. We talked about some very cool concepts too. DP in Tennessee, Mama D, how are you? Sarah Bauman, Kristen Melinda, good to see you. Sweet Liberty, Anne from Massachusetts. Hi, Heather in the library, good to see you. Milwaukee Payne, my other's keeper. Hello, Pat Carlson. How are you? My sister's George. We just shorten that up. See, I know what's up, right? Yeah, there's a curious missing somewhere there, but that's okay. Good to see you. Hamster Heifer says, hooray for you all. All right, Allison Metcalf Palumbo. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope between the dreams. Always a pleasure. Spike, what's happening? Judy Lee. How are you? Heather, Jam. And Lynn Sanity, Lydia Kraus. Yes, it feels good to be home. Armine, good to see you. Karen W, you're a lurker? Well, good. Stick your head up and say hello. We love it when that happens. Lumen says present and accounted for. Good to see you, Lumen. Glad you're here. You love this time slot? Well, we might stick with it. We'll see what happens. Sai. Is that Sai? I think so. Cooler by the lake. It'd be cooler if you did. Jody Who, just me being me. Lutz Lizard. Any relation to the lounge lizard? Lutz Lizard, good to see you. Yeah, see, we'll get a crowd here tonight. Amy Edge, what's happening? April Goodson. Little late, but I made it. Your video with BBB was great. Yeah, my video with BBB was great. Bacon Bits, Ben Turner, and Shannon were on there, and it was just a really good time. It really was. I would love to go back and do more stuff with him. He's an awful lot of fun. He really is. Both of them were. I live for now. Brazy Girl, Debbie P, Little Flower, Lurker saying hello. I love it when that happens. For real. Pop up. Eva, what's happening? Stray, good to see you. Dennis N. Heavenous Dad Conroe. If you're brand new and you're going, is he going to call out everybody's name? Yes. Yeah, I am. And then later in the show, when more people show up, I'm going to do it again. So you'll be all right. I promise. You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. And then it kind of like dovetails off into a show. It's kind of cool. Myers Girl, good to see you. Miss Fitz, how are you? Charlie Mullins. What's happening, Charlie Murphy? Otter Dance 64. Our friend Holly C. Good to see you, Holly. Holly's been around forever. West Coast Fancy Nancy, good to see you. Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle, there you are. Good. Pam from Canada, California. From Canada, California. I always like saying that one because it cracks me up. It really did. Where's Moose? Right before I went live, he was on my lap. Actually, he's been hell on wheels all day. Like that cat is he's nocturnal. You know what I mean? Like he normally sleeps all day, but about an hour or two ago, he woke up and he just, once he does, he's a wild man. He really is. I'll get him to chill out a little bit. I got to play with him a little bit more, but he's having a lot of fun. Wow. Jamie Palmer, congratulations on the new laptop. So does that mean you can see the fact that my pores are a lot larger than they should be? Huh? Is it bad? Is it like high def? Are you kind of freaked out by me? I hate high def for that reason. Not me. I just don't like seeing other people in it. I'm always like, damn, man, that person doesn't look like that. DS Kitty, Oh, I'm glad. I'm excited that you could catch a live too. I'm glad you're here. For real. I am for real. Didn't mean to make your daughter cry. There's Bacon Bits. What's happening, Ben? I had a lot of fun today, man. I really did. I had a lot of fun. That was a good time. If you guys have not had a chance to go over and check it out, shame on you. No, I'm kidding. A lot of you might not know, but do head over there and check it out. It was a fun interview. It really was. I had a really good time. Kitty likes having zoomies. Yeah, yeah. Moose is he's just yeah. There you go. Sorry, Mrs. Jackson. Yeah, I knew someone would like that. Thanks, Ben. I think you do a good interview. You know what I mean? And when people feel like they're just hanging out and talking, it's usually good stuff, and that's what it felt like. Oh man, Moose is enjoying his kittenhood. Moose is enjoying being inside. Karen Hall, good to see you. Heather Clark, how are you? Really enjoying being inside. Jen Nelson, what's happening? You can just look at him sometimes and you think, this is a cat thinking this is so much better than it was underneath that tractor where I lived for like 6 months. You know what I mean? Like living under that tractor sucked. You know, he slept outside on rocks. It was just, he had a tough time. And boy, he loves it here, man. He is chilling out. Lori Lee, good to see you. He sleeps like this, you know, his feet out, stretched out all the way. Just, I mean, chilling. And he plays constantly, which is cool. You know, when I first went up there, you've probably seen the pictures, but when I first went up there, they said, you know, this cat's feral. You got to be very careful coming up on him. I picked him up like this, was kissing his head. He was the least feral cat I've ever seen in my life. He really was. He does a lot of meowing, but as a feral cat, they're not used to playing. So when he first got here, you'd throw little toys and stuff in front of him, and he was just sort of like, you know, what is this? Now he's come into his own, and it's like everything can be played with. I walk by and he attacks my leg or my foot. He's a kitten now. Matrix Rabbit, Trish, Ryan, good to see you. Glad you're here. Damn. I love that. Did I bring squirrel? I have been asked that a couple of times already, Debbie P. That's okay. I did not. I did not bring a squirrel out here on this visit. Thought about it. I really did. I thought about it. But we have a cat that we just introduced into this ecosystem down here, right? I mean, honestly, this is a teeny cat who lived outdoors, who now has 2 dogs that he lives with and another cat, right? That is the owner of the house cat. So I would really like him to kind of become a real solid part of this clan, a real, you know, kind of tuned in part of this little family here. And once that's done, I'll be far more comfortable to bring out Squirrel Nut Zipper, right? But I don't want to bring Squirrel out and have, you know, just create even more chaos. Like that's not such a great idea. Mach, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl was making me laugh yesterday. Scooby Lee. Hey, Kathy Ann. I'm sorry to hear that, but thank you for everything you do, Kathy Ann. Kathy Ann's been working really hard. She's done some great shorts for us. Put together some really, really cool shorts. Kid's in charge. There's no question. Kid runs the house. No question. And the reason she does is if she just gives me the sad look like I'm not being treated well, I'll just go kick the crap out of everybody else because that's my girl. Heather Carr. My health is good. My health is as good as it's been in a very long time, honestly. I've got a few issues, but they're all very small, honestly. Third Eye Open, good to see you. All of my health stuff is really small, and my pain level is as low as it's ever been, right? No, there's been a lot. You've done so much with this already. And I promise I haven't forgotten about the next installment of Cat in a Basket. I'm going to try to push that out tomorrow. It's amazing. It really is. It's amazing how many, I think we're up to 5, right? It's amazing that we can just, how many times I picked that cat up in a basket. I mean, it's hundreds of times. It's insane. It really is. Lori Driscoll, welcome to the party. Just Pauline, good to see you. Catalina, and this is a party. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. I hate it when people use the word partying to describe drug use. I really do, man. It's not what partying used to be. Just Joan. The meeting pit interview. Tommy Scovel, I'm now subscribed. Oh, excellent. Bacon Bits, you hear that? Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. I love it. I love it. You know what? I would recommend Ben. I really would. I would recommend Ben to anybody that's trying out content to make you a better person. If you're honestly going and catching live stuff because you want to better yourself, yeah, I would check him out. I really would. He's very knowledgeable and his delivery is excellent. You know what I mean? He's got a good sense of humor. I really enjoy watching the cat. And he's not one of those people that's hard to listen to. Sometimes there are people out there and the wealth of knowledge they have is incredible, but their delivery just for whatever reason kind of leaves you flat. And if that's the case, it's usually difficult to come back from, honestly. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Trish, nobody deserves that. Honestly, the fat shaming stuff, all of that. If anyone's shaming you for what you look like, if anyone's shaming you for things that are that mother loving trivial, I'm sorry, but they really are. I realize that it doesn't feel trivial. Like it feels really, really hurtful. And I don't mean to downplay it by saying, but I mean, think about a grown individual judging somebody or treating somebody poorly based on their weight, right? Or their skin color, any of those things. You realize that's prejudging, right? They prejudge the person because of their size, right? Even if they're family, whatever, it's prejudice. You're prejudging, right? I'm not going to treat you well because you're overweight. I've prejudged you already and said overweight people don't deserve this, and this. Those people exist. There are crazy people out there in this world. You understand that, right? We got some people out there, with all due respect to family and friends. We have some people out there that are batshit crazy. Because if you've got family members that are treating you like that, I'm sorry, but that's a mental condition. Trish, I love you. Thoughts and prayers going out to you. Your family here will not do that to you. I promise. I promise. Thank you, Shannon Smith. Shannon says, interviewing you was a pleasure. You know what? I really appreciate that. I had a great time. I did. I had a great time being on there with both of you. I look forward to doing it again. Honest. Jay Rambo, good to see you. See that? Lumen says, first time checking out BBB today, but I enjoyed it and I'll be back. You got to love that, Ben. And you earned that. I'm not joking. I mean, if you've been here for any length of time, I will put up, I try to help everybody. I really do. But if I'm going to go on, I'm going to watch what you do before I go on your stuff. It's different. You know what I mean? I have no problem saying to people, hey, give them a follow. Go check it out and see if you like her work. Go check it out and see if you like his work. Right? We're all family. I'll do that all day long. If you got a wrench, put that up. No problem. But I'm not going to say, hey, you know what? Stick around. Everybody has an opportunity to get somebody over there, right? And then you got to keep them there. You got to keep them there. You got to do content that's enough of whatever, enough entertainment, enough laugh, enough knowledge, right? Whatever the case may be. Ah, Linsanity, you're so welcome. You are so welcome. And we're probably going to be touching on a little of that tonight too, Linsanity. We're probably going to be touching on a little of that tonight. The tonight's thumbnail, if you saw it, was sick and tired of the BS. Yeah. Yeah, it's not partying. Right? It's boring crap. You're just sitting around and getting high. That's not partying. Tampa B, good to see you. I really have a problem with that being called partying. Right? To me, partying is a celebration among friends. That's what it is. It's a celebration. If you're sitting down and sticking a needle in your arm, you're not celebrating squat. You're not. If you're hunched over a table with a straw in your hand and you're snorting up, methamphetamine up your left nostril, trust and believe that's not partying. That's tragic, but it's not partying. Caroline in the moment, how are you? Yeah, so are you sick and tired of the BS? Hold on one second. Mock says, I found with people that weight shame, they're so miserable and insecure, they hate themselves more. Takes the sting out of the insults. And it's a fact. It's a fact. You understand this, right? For real. Mock just hit it out of the park. Projection, classic projection, right? Methinks thou doth protest too much. When someone is constantly picking at things, and again, things that aren't logical. You want to take a shot at me, right? If you're somebody and we're talking and you know what, I don't like you. Your background's disgusting. What you did for the first, 40 years of your life, you should be ashamed of yourself. What am I going to do? Right? You're entitled to that opinion. You are. And 30%, 40%, something like that of the planet would agree with you. because you don't get a second chance. If you get tossed in there when you get out and your time has been served or whatever, you're still a convict, right? They still refer to you like that. And it is what it is. I'm not sitting here and lamenting it. I'm really not, right? But it is really serious that that people tend to project their hangups onto other people, right? For real. And when somebody truthfully hates themselves, when somebody is really miserable in their own skin, but they don't use drugs, right? When you're uncomfortable in your own skin, you're going to find a way to feel comfortable. And as effed up as this is, sometimes it's tearing down people around you. Crazy, right? You've heard people say stuff like, dude's a psychic vampire. You ever heard people say this? A psychic vampire? And you go, what the hell is that? You ever been around one of those people that just kind of sucks the energy out of a room? Literally, happy people become unhappy around them. It's a bizarre thing. But there are people who seem to thrive on the misery and the suffering of others, right? Get the hell away from them. Even if they're family, get away from them. If people are saying things to you, this is your litmus test. If somebody is saying something to you and there is no doubt in your mind that they are saying it to hurt you, sometimes I'll say something and I won't think it through, and I'll say something and the way I say it will step on somebody's feelings. I didn't intend to do that, but or this happens a lot, believe it or not. I'll use a word that in another country is a curse, right? It means nothing here in the US, but I'll say it and someone will send me an email and say, please stop saying that. It really hurts my feelings. And, and I always write back and go, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I got people in, 110 countries. If I go down that list, we're going to come out here and I'm not going to be able to say a word, because words that I use as part of my everyday vocabulary they mean something else in a different place. I'm just kind of going to play to the numbers and hope I don't bum anybody out. The Mock, I'm honestly so glad that you brought this up. I really am. We've been talking about this in other ways a lot lately, but individuals who feel the need to tear others down so that they can feel better, people that feel the need to make themselves more than they normally are. We talked about this stupid control group that my girl was exposing. You know what I'm talking about? The Jester crowd. This is a group of individuals. If you look at these cats, very often these are not the kind of guys that you would look at and go, oh yeah, this would be a crew that would go out on a Friday night and go pick some women up. These are a crew of people that would go out and probably not make that happen. Not being disrespectful. I really not. I'm just saying that they seem to target individuals that may need to pay for it. Not being disrespectful. It's just the absolute truth. But those individuals go out of their way to talk about how they are the elite, how they are better, how they are above, right? They are the evolved creatures on this planet. And the rest of us, well, we're just bags of meat. It's really no different than Scientology. It's really no different than any kind of control group or cult. We're better. They're not. It's us. It's them. It has to be that us and them dynamic in order to be a control group, right? Got to have your own language. You got to have your own culture. You got to have all that crap. And you got to make it so that when they're talking to someone who's not in that culture, you start feeling weird, right? You start feeling like you're out of place. And pretty soon, everybody you know is a member of this organization, or everybody you know is a member of this cult. Your circle gets real small real quick. And I mean, it's a terrifying thing. It really is. Because not only is it an echo chamber, you know what I mean by that, right? It's an echo chamber in that everybody there is basically saying the same thing, right? Everybody here is basically they're all deep saying the same thing. And an echo chamber is a frightening concept. Happens a lot on the internet. In a perfect world, we're listening to people who disagree with us, right? And I don't mean jerks. I don't mean people that come on and want to curse at you and tell you, but someone who can sit down and go, I disagree. And they can articulate why they disagree. And that's never going to upset me. Someone who can sit down logically and rationally and explain something. The last time I really lost it on somebody, there was a political thing that somebody pushed into my life. I don't like talking about this stuff. I really don't. But they said they made a few statements, and I said, hey, do me a favor. Back some of this up. Explain to me what you're saying, right? Give me something other than the sentence you just said. Can you back this up? Can you tell me where you researched any of this? Give me something. I can't articulate it. I can't argue it. I can't do anything, but I'm going to get pissed off at you if you don't agree with it. And that kind of stuff is never going to fly with me. I promise you, it's never going to fly. But you will find people in your life who, because of their horrific insecurities, because of the fact that they can't stand who they are, because of the fact that they are so uncomfortable in their own skin that they are just miserable, they're going to cut you down. They're going to treat you like crap. They're going to do everything within their power to make you feel bad, because in the process of doing that, they get to feel superior for a brief period of time. Sick, right? Disgusting. Think about this for a second. But this is a reality. This is honestly taking place on a daily basis all over this country. There are so many people that are involved in this kind of control group. But the thumbnail today, when I said sick and tired of the BS, right? I had to get on an airplane and fly here, and whenever I'm in a travel day or 2 travel days, or whatever the case may be, my emails stack up. I'm always days behind on my emails anyway. But if I have 1 or 2 days that I can't check them and stay up on it, I really will get behind, right? Really get behind and really fast. But the recurring theme in every one of these emails, because most people these days, if you're emailing me, it's because you're in a bad place, right? Most people are not emailing me and saying, hey, I know, things are great. It happens. Sometimes I get people that say, I really dig the show, but the vast majority of people who reach out need help. Hello, Indigo Twin. These are people that really and honestly need help. And it's always the same thing. It really is. Stop the BS, right? Are you sick of this? Are you sick of the BS? If you're listening to me and you're in the life, you're going to get to a point where what you're doing every day is scarier than the idea of quitting. Right? For the addict, nothing is scarier than the idea of quitting. That's the most frightening thing in the world to a drug addict. But when the day comes that staying a drug addict is scarier, right, than taking the plunge, it's usually when people find the boat. It's usually when, honestly, one of the reasons that so many people seem to be helped by this channel is because we're not forcing anybody in the door. Seriously, someone will say, hey, I'm trying to quit. I've been having a struggle. And they'll say, hey, you should go check out the boat. The people who come here are hungry for knowledge, right? They're hungry to find out how the hell all of these people managed to get into recovery or into harm reduction or whatever, or just the concept of harm reduction. You realize that most addicts, this is absolutely foreign to most addicts, because what do they tell you? You got to quit. You got to quit everything. You got to quit everything. So no more drinking, no more, doing dope, none of the drugs, and no cigarettes. Get off of those too, right? No tobacco products, and may as well quit cursing, and maybe don't break wind, right? No flatulence. Don't fart for while you're doing all of the rest of this too, right? I mean, if you're gonna quit everything on earth, you may as well quit it all at once. You're not going to be successful either. It's a very, very rare thing. Lori Lee, I remember the picture of your cat. I love a good cat picture. In fact, yeah, that's a favorite pastime of mine. Honestly, a lot of people send me cat pictures, a lot, but I love that. That's funny. I'm not familiar with this, with the character, but this is funny. The character Colin Robinson in the series What We Do in the Shadows is an energy vampire. He bores people so much that when he leaves them, they're exhausted. I know those people, right? I think I've done a couple of shows like that. I'm not kidding, right? I've done 2,000 some odd shows. There's been a few like that. There's been a few that people walked away and were like, man, I'm beat. Badger Life says, you need to replace those bad habits with good ones that make you feel wonderful. I'm absolutely a big proponent of this, right? One of the things that we were talking about yesterday, when we were talking about the malfunctioning reward center of the brain. Well, how do you take care of that? Well, you get it to function, right? You get it to function the way it's supposed to. You start doing things that are good for the organism. When we start doing dope on the daily, we start drinking on the daily, whatever we're doing, but we're doing it every single day. All of the stuff that we should be doing regularly to move the organism in a positive direction, to move us forward, we stop doing. We do. We stop hanging out with people, connection goes to hell. We're not working out, right? We're not doing any of those things. So all of a sudden we stop taking care of the body the way we're supposed to. We don't eat correctly, right? That goes out the window. How about your sleep, right? Well, if you're doing speed drugs, if you're doing speed or you're doing blow or you're doing something like that, you're obviously not, your sleep habits way off. If you're doing the other end of the spectrum, if you're doing downers, oh, you're going to sleep. You might sleep for 10 hours a day. It's worthless sleep. It really is. That's not good sleep. You wake up hungover as crap. And I don't mean hungover like you're in pain. You're just stupid. Like you wake up and you can't, you know, you've been there. You can't shake it off. Like for half a day, you're just plain stupid. It's frustrating. Sorry. Trish, I love you. Trish says, I can't explain so much, but I have a little brother named Tommy I love with special needs, Down syndrome, etc. I cannot totally disconnect. I wish I could. I do as much as possible. You're a good person. That's hard. Evil twin sister, good to see you. That's really, really hard. Hey, Robin Miners. But Trish, you're a good person. And I love the fact that you wouldn't walk out, right? It's just the right thing. It's no, don't shut up. You don't have to shut up. It's hey, you know what? Let's go over this one more time. I love all of you, right? I really do. I love all of you. But we're going to go over this one more time. This is important. This is where you come to dump. If you go to any other place, you probably need to say, sorry, man, I wasn't trying to take the show off what we were talking about, or I wasn't trying to be a downer, or I wasn't. That's probably every other show, right? I spend the entire show in the comment section talking to people. Yeah, there's a subject I kind of want to weave through the shit, but in all honesty, I'm just talking to my friends and we're trying to work with anybody that seems to be having problems, right? Hey, Donna. Badger says, believe in yourself, which is really great advice. I mean, truthfully, it's hard. It's especially in the beginning. It's very, very hard in the beginning. Because we usually hate ourselves when we're first quitting right in the beginning. Usually we're not in a great frame of mind, right? Like we're rock bottom is usually about the time you quit, and your self-esteem at that point is in the toilet. Usually self-love is not, or self-belief is not on tap at that point, but it absolutely will come. And like I was saying with the malfunctioning reward center, the simplest stuff, I went over this yesterday, but the simplest stuff, get up and make the bed. Tommy, why do you always bust balls about making the bed? Because it's the first thing that you can do in the morning that gives your brain an opportunity to go, huh? Well, he doesn't usually do that, man. What is he trying to get his shit together? Well, let's give him a little feel-good chemical. Bless you. Let's shoot down a little feel-good chemical. Let's make him feel better about himself. That's what the reward center of the brain is supposed to do. But our dumb, we hijacked it. And it's been rewarding us for stealing. I'm not being funny. It's been rewarding us for turning tricks. It's been rewarding us if our actions are getting us dope. Because instead of the organism moving forward and us being a better person, we're just getting high. And now the reward center is not trying to make us a better person. It's not trying to make sure we have kids and that we take care of the kids. That's what these chemicals are supposed to do. I'm not kidding you. That's what these chemicals are supposed to do. Instead, they bind you to a bag of meth, or they bond you to some Thai heroin. Then life really jumps off the rails. Capiche? Things get really, really messed up at that point. Was trying to explain why meth is a bad idea to a 15-year-old earlier. Not sure I knocked it out of the park, but maybe something stuck. You know what? When I talk to the youngsters, Kristen Melinda, here's the thing. Everybody that's ever talked to the kids lies to them. They make the drug worse than it has to be, right? Because you feel like, well, this is bad. Like it's a 6 out of 10 bad. But if I make it an 8 out of 10 bad, right? Maybe they're less likely to do this. So I'm just gonna bend the truth a little bit, right? Like, no one's gonna die the first time they smoke meth. Right? This is not, but maybe we'll tell them that happens. Maybe we'll tell them it happens a lot, right? Bad batches. I mean, this is happening all the time. And this is the kind of crap they do. And then people watch them. Like if they go in and say, you touch fentanyl, all you got to do is touch it and you're dead. You've heard this on the news, right? Coming in contact with this will kill you. Then your 17-year-old, your 15-year-old goes to a party and there's a guy with a bag of pills this big. Every one of them spent. He's going like this, digging through with his hands, handing them out to people. And your kid's going, What? I thought touching that would kill you. He's hand banging the crap out of every pill in that bag. You know what I mean? He's hand effing the entire bag. How is he not dead? They lied to me. And once a kid thinks you lied to them, nothing else that you said will ever be taken seriously. So if you lie on the little shit, when you say something like a fentanyl pill can kill you, right? It can. It's got 6 out of 10 chance that it could kill you. More than 2 milligrams, and there'd be enough to take you out. And we're seeing that in almost more than half. We're seeing it in more than half of these pills have a lethal dose in it. So you got to be careful. They're looking at you going, yeah, meth is killing people as soon as they smoke it, right? Or marijuana makes guys develop breasts. Yeah, these people lie to us. Why would I believe them about this? So my advice, Kristen Melinda, is that when you talk to somebody about something like meth, I wouldn't even tell them it's a bad idea. I know people get really pissed when I say this, but you'll freak the kid out if you say to him, "Look, I'm not here to villainize this drug for you. I'm going to tell you what this drug does, right? Everything this drug does. And I'm not going to say it in such a way, but I ain't going to lie to you either, right? So one of the things that happens is your mouth gets really dry. You stay up for days on end. You tend to not brush your teeth because you've been up for 8 days. We usually brush our teeth when? When we go to bed and when we get up. Well, if you don't go to bed or get up for 7 days, you're messing with your grill in a big way. Then also to process some of the chemicals out in this drug, especially when it's being made in bathtubs, something with calcium in your body, like rapes your body of calcium. So where's the stashes of calcium? You start out in your teeth, right? Easy stuff to get at, and then bone loss. This is a reality, and everybody knows what meth mouth is, right? We've all seen somebody that has lost their grill on this stuff, and they love showing those pictures to kids. Realistically, I mean it's scary, isn't it? But they're going to watch everybody in their high school do meth all through high school, and nobody's going to lose their grill. They're not. I mean, it's usually not a 1-year proposition, right? Especially if you're around the house, right? You're close enough to mom and dad where they're probably not, allowing you to go buck wild. It's going to take a little longer than that. So once again, if everything we do is over the top scaring them, they're looking around going, I don't know anybody that's lost their grill on this stuff. I don't think it's as prevalent as they say it is. I think they're lying. I just tell people about the drug. So here's why this drug is scary. Okay. Here's why this drug is scary. When you smoke this, when you shoot it, when you snort it, when you do whatever, right? It releases an ungodly amount of chemical into the body that will make you feel good. I'm going to give you some numbers right now that are fake as hell, but it will illustrate this in a very nice way. I want you to picture feel-good chemicals being released in numbers, right, to give it some kind of relevance. So the first time you walk into your lover's room, right, you walk into the bedroom of somebody that you've never had sex with, and you walk in there the first time knowing it's about to happen, right, on a scale of 1 to 100, you probably are at about 70 in terms of cool chemicals that are getting released into your body to make this a really cool experience, right? That's a big one. Holding a loved one's hand that you've been with for years and years and years loses some stank, right? Might be 10 on a scale of 1 to 100, right? A nurse comes out and hands you your child, right? The very first time you get a kid handed to you, you're at 85, right? Out of 100. And the first time you do a shot of meth in a vein, you're at 230, right? It's literally going to double the amount of chemicals that you had in your body when they handed you your kid. Now, do this for 2 years every day, right? Every day for 2 years. What are you doing? Well, getting high, right? On what? Meth? No, on the chemicals in my head. The meth is turning it on, right? The meth goes in there and releases all that stuff, but it's my brain chemicals are getting high, right? This is my stuff. This is in my head. I'm just releasing it with meth. Right? It's all good, right? It's all bad. It's all bad. Because eventually your brain goes, maybe I won't ever send any of this stuff out again unless he sends some meth our way. Like this has now got to cause an effect. You want to feel good, you're going to give us this, or there's never going to be any feel good chemical again. Now you have something that doctors refer to as anhedonia, the inability to feel. And this is real for people that do meth too long. Very real. They don't feel anything. They don't feel anything. If you've ever had a habit, if you've ever messed around with that particular drug, it is very highly attached to certain behaviors, right? One of the behaviors is tweaking, taking things apart, putting them back together, working on things that are really small and kind of intricate. That catches a lot of people, right? A lot of people get into that. Sex, huge amount of people that do this end up making it a sex drug. So now you got people that are doing drugs, having sex, often with multiple partners because it's that kind of drug. So you got people swinging and doing all this thing. So what did we say? Sex was about a 75 or an 85? Okay, well, what happens if sex is taking place on the drug? Well, you're at 160, 170. Well, great. That's more fun than any sex you've ever had in your life. Keep doing that for 2 years, right? Maybe 4 years, maybe 10 years, right? Greatest sex. What happens when you quit? What happens when you don't give your body that crap anymore? Now you go to have sex and you're like, 70. 70 ain't worth getting off the couch. It's not going to be exciting ever again. And if sex isn't, how about holding your loved one's hand? What do you think that's going to do? You've been pumping so much of this chemical into your body at all times. You're going to really regret it. Okay? When the time comes that you actually need some of that feel-good chemical. And if you've known, I've been doing this now a hot minute, and I know a bunch of people on the boat. We got one guy that 22 years did the stuff. 22 years. And the first time I spoke with him on the phone, I said, how did they beat the anhedonia? Because it really happens to a lot of people. And he said, they didn't. I don't feel a thing. That's horrific. I mean, that's horrific. He still holds his daughter's hand because it's the right thing to do, but he feels nothing. Do you understand the danger in this drug? I'm not playing. This is horrific how dangerous this drug is. Now, not for most people. Just like every other drug in the world, most people that do it don't end up crashing and burning. 3% do. Doesn't mean that more than that don't get addicted or more than that don't get in trouble. But 3% are going to crash and burn. They're either going to die, they're going to overdose, they're going to end up in hospitals, or they're going to end up in prison. They're not going to still be out here doing it. It's going to take them out in one way or the other. That's 3%. Always. Different cultures, different societies seems to always come back to about 3%. Right. So a lot of people just do that. But those who start doing it habitually, people who start doing this every day, it really becomes a terrifying thing. Jason P says, I can attest to that fact. 20 years off that crap. Dangerous stuff. Really dangerous and disgusting stuff. But that's every time I have an opportunity to talk to somebody who's still in the life, because that's the way I look at it. They're still out there. They're still out there in this life where you got a decent chance of dying. I'm sorry. The entire drug supply is tainted. But if you come here and everything out of your mouth is, you do this once, you're going to die. You do this once, you're going to, man, the danger in these drugs, we don't have to make them worse than they are. What I just told you about meth, there's no BS in any of that. That's terrifying, right? Lydia Krause says, it's amazing not to walk on eggshells anymore. Moved her in with me 3 years ago. I'm struggling as it is. I have leukemia and single mom. I can finally breathe. You know what? God bless you. Annika's mom, thoughts and prayers. Just picked up her husband from the hospital. Thanks for joining us. Badge's Life says your whole life changes. You will free yourself from being chained to the drug. And you know what? It really is. And has always been, that's a visual image that's very real to me. Hey, chat says that's very real to me, right? That image is something that being chained to the substance, that really was me, man. That, Chili Phil, good to see you. Heroin was such a frightening thing because I could not get more than 5 feet away from it. I couldn't. Every single decision I made, before I can make a decision, so, well, we're going to do this. I needed this much. How long are we going to be gone? Okay, I need this much. everything had to hinge around, I need 7 grams of this shit every single day, right? So if I'm going on the road for 8 days, I need 56 grams of dope. That's enough. If you get caught transporting it, you're in a lot of trouble. And it's so bad, but you're chained to it. You're literally chained to it. I have a relationship with this drug that I cannot get away from, right? This owns me. Heroin's at the helm. It might look like I'm doing things. It might look like I'm not, right? The drug is. Every decision I make, everything I do, it's all, right? The drug. And we talked about this a lot when we first got the boat up and running. And one of the guys used the illustration of like when a leader of a country goes rogue, right? Like look at North Korea, right? I don't think the people of North Korea are bad. The people of North Korea are just human beings trying to live their best life. They want what's best for their kids, right? They like sex. They're like everybody else on planet Earth, right? They just want to live their best life. Now their ruler is a complete and utter jackass, right? I think we can all agree on that. But you wouldn't blame all of the people because of what the leader's doing. And that's honestly what happens when you get sober and you blame yourself for the crap you've been doing for the last 6 years or 8 years or whatever. Guess what? Guess what? There was a tyrant running that show, and it wasn't you. There was somebody else at the wheel. Now, I mean, you gave him the wheel, is what it is, right? I gave him the wheel, but we gave it up. We absolutely gave it up. That was something that we didn't have control over anymore. And if dope was doing the driving, I'm sorry, I'm not beating myself up for that. I'm not. It just doesn't make sense to me. Hey, Kim Roy, good to see you. Late but here. You know what? I started early, so I'm not going to beat on you for that. I'm really not. That seems you're not that late. You'd only be about 10 minutes late if I had started on time, but I started a little early today. Make great memories to replace the cringe ones. You know something, Mark Wages, my old partner here, Captain Mark, used to talk about this a lot. And I thought it was very, very interesting. He said when he first got sober, right? It depends on how long you've been running and gunning. Thank you, Nick. Look at that. Noise opera. I love Nick. Nick is handing out hot sauce packets, people. Someone's turning green. I absolutely love that. Really appreciate you, Nick. I really do. Very, very cool. Matrix Rabbit, I am sorry. Thoughts and prayers, please. So Mark Wages used to say, like, take me, for instance, 30 years. 30 years I'm partying. Every day I'm doing dope for 30 years. Now I quit. What memories do I have that do not have dope in them? Honestly, I guess, from birth to 18, from birth to 17 or whatever. Guess what? I don't remember a lot of that. Izzy E, good to see you. I don't remember a lot of that. But instantly, you start making memories. And I remember saying to the people I was with at the time, hey, Lori Hart, Tribe Called Duff, good to see you. I remember saying to people at the time, hey, you know what, man? This is the first birthday I've had in decades that I didn't do heroin for. Well, that was a new memory, right? And every day I was saying, I can't remember the last time I did this sober. I can't remember the last time I did this sober. I can't remember the last time, but I was making memories. And it's great because things like going to a happy place, right? We spend a lot of time, whether you realize it or not, we spend a crap load of time running the highlight reel of our life, even if we don't want to, right? Automatic negative thoughts, negative self-talk, whatever you want to call it. Ants is what I call it, right? But that's where they come from, right? You feel me on this? That's where they come from. Hold on one second. You want to build something. Brazy. Brazy's feeling love again. I missed that. Brazy, I'm so happy for you. I really am. That's awesome. Holly says, a bit behind in the chat, but I have massive anhedonia after having weight loss surgery. It stripped the joy out of eating, not just overeating, eating it all. My 40 plus year coping mechanism. Wow. Right? Wow. You lost your best friend. You lost your best friend. I remember like it was yesterday, the realization, sitting down and going, she's gone, right? Chiva. This drug had been with me forever. Laura Lou, good to see you. This drug was the answer to every question, right? Didn't matter what the question was. The answer was heroin. And that was for decades, far longer than I had been. You look at how long I had been on this planet, 4-1, 4-1, the amount of time that I had been sober versus the amount of time I had been wasted on that one drug. It's terrifying, right? It really is. It's terrifying. And that realization that she's not going to be there tomorrow to help me. Not going to be there tomorrow or the next day. It's never going to happen again. Now you have to still eat, right? It's part of survival. I'm never going to do that drug again, but I still had to, very much, Holly, like you're probably going to have to. I had to do exactly what we were just talking about, right? I had to start looking for ways to find enjoyment. I knew there's certain things I'm never going to have pleasure doing ever again. So you know what? I'm not going to concentrate a hell of a lot on them, right? You got to eat. You got to eat to sustain yourself, right? But I would start trying to find other coping mechanisms in other places. And I know that after 40 years, it's easy to go, oh man, 40 years. At 46, I had been doing, 3 decades of tar. And I started doing dope so young that I was stunted at about 16. I have absolutely no, I didn't understand anything about emotions. I really was an emotional cripple. Yeah. Kestrel says she wasn't much help when she was there in your life, Tommy. She was a bitch who stole more than she gave. I'll tell you something. It's, if you just got here, she's talking about my drug of choice. And it brings up a really interesting point that I say all of the time. This is one of my absolute favorite expressions. This is one of those things that the first time I wrote down in a journal, I thought to myself, well, this is pretty much the backbone of everything that I believe, right? This is it. In a couple of sentences, this is it. My drug of choice gives you nothing. Right? Nothing. I don't care if you get it for free and somebody puts 4 tons of it in your garage, it will never give you anything. Deanna Downey, good to see you. And if you go, yeah, it gives me courage so I can go out on stage, like rock stars. No, it takes away fear. Doesn't give you anything. It takes away fear. It'll take away pain. It'll take away fear. It'll take away a lot of things, but it will give you nothing. The question becomes, what are you trying to take away? What is so bad in your life that you're willing to get sick every time you're without this drug? What is so bad that you have to drug it down? And that's what we're all doing here, right? This is why Tommy screams about journaling. You're not going to have it go like this. Yeah, can I help you? Yeah, I'm the reason you do dope. Right. I understand you're quitting. I thought I would show up and tell you this is it. This is why you've been getting high for 30 plus years. Right? You got it? Doesn't work like that. Sorry, it doesn't. This is one of those things that you got to sit down and you got to start writing and you got to start peeling this onion back, right? Patch Your Life says, first thing you do when you wake up in the morning really, really matters. Positive, even if it's just coffee and listening to the birds. I think there's a lot of truth to what you do in the morning is super important. There really is. You're setting the bar for the rest of the day. And ideally, you'd like to set a couple of goals, even if they're really small things. You want to knock out a routine that you do enough so that your brain is going, holy crap, dude's productive, right? Girl's productive. All right, let's reward it. This is positive stuff. Let's get the reward center of the brain doing what it was supposed to be doing in the first time before we hijacked it with dope. Right? Make the bed, right? Journal, brush your teeth, do whatever, right? Do breakfast. I work out, I do yoga. And by the time 6 o'clock rolls around, there's been a hell of a lot of small things that I've done that gave me the, right? Oh, yeah. Started feeling really good about myself. I'm trying to realign that malfunctioning reward center of the brain. And you guys help that like you wouldn't believe. Because every time one of you takes a leap forward and says something like, wouldn't have happened if the boat wasn't here? Right? Ugh, there it goes. That's my drug of choice. And that will absolutely give me a buzz. It does. Absolutely gives me a buzz. And it keeps me coming back. I promise you, it keeps me coming back. This is huge. This is what I do. Kestrel says, remember the This Is Your Life on Heroin commercial where the girl takes the pan and destroys the kitchen? So much better than the This Is Your Brain on Drugs with a side of bacon one. Yeah, no, you're right. And I totally remember that. It was a pretty vicious commercial, especially the first time you see it, because you think it's going to be another one of those drug commercials, and they just beat the crap out of the kitchen, breaking things, knocking stuff onto the floor, just trashes the place. It was a very, very strong commercial. Most of those drug commercials were stupid as hell, but there were a couple of really good ones. There was a great one for Coke where a guy goes into the crapper, right? And he's at a bar or whatever, and it's not a particularly, clean bathroom anyway, but he goes into the bathroom and he goes to take the bullet. He's going to snort a little and he drops it, right? And it goes down and he's reaching down onto this foul ass floor, and he's like got his hand behind the toilet and he's reaching behind, and it said, cocaine is glamorous. And I remember looking at it and going, it was just gross. You know what I mean? And I remember watching it going, yeah, you know what? I'd probably be reaching behind that. Looked like there was about 1.5 grams in there. And that was back when 1.5 grams was $150. You know what I mean? Just foul, foul, foul. Hey, Donna, I understand where you're coming from. She says, I have a husband who is a best friend, but I have trust issues too because lots of people have let me down or worse. That's so hard, isn't it? Tampa Bay, good for you. I decided not to be disrespected or talked down to by anyone, starting with myself this time. Love that. I love that. I fail at that a lot, but I swear to you, I'm trying. I really am. I'm trying. Colleen G, good to see you. Oh, you know what? I thank you for being here. Honestly, so I would be doing this with or without you. I would. This is the most important thing in my life. This is what helps me stay sober. But it's so much more fun doing it with you here. Hey, Goosebump. It's so much more fun when there's a crowd of people here that we're bantering back and forth. It really makes this a good time. Goosebump 801 says, this morning I spent 2 minutes saying positive, believable affirmations in the mirror. Felt weird, but I had fun with it. And then I made myself go out for a walk. The reward center of your brain is going to start having a field day with those things. And you got to keep doing the affirmations feel stupid. You got to keep doing them until they don't feel stupid, for real. And it's not because, but because by the time they don't feel stupid, you will have absolutely pounded them into your brain enough to work because you'll feel dumb for a long time. I mean, first half of a year, I felt really stupid doing it, But I promise you, someday you're going to be sitting there doing absolutely nothing, and you're going to hear that inner monologue, right? That voice that you've always heard tell you that you weren't good enough, right? That mom didn't love you as much as she loved your sister, right? That your first wife cheated on you because you weren't, good in the sack. Whatever the hell, those automatic negative thoughts are crawling all over your head, and you're waiting for that voice, and the voice comes forward and goes, "You're a winner," right? What? You're a winner. You're good at this. You can make things happen, right? You're going, what the? Yeah, man. They happen. Automatic positive thoughts happen. I promise you they do. You just have to make them happen. Nana of 2, good to see you. You remember that commercial too, Kestrel? It was a good one, man. It really was. Kathy, I saw an addiction medicine specialist today because 15 those years ago, I ended a 30-year addiction to meth and need help getting my brain chemistry back in balance. But I'm good with the hopes to be better, and I love myself. Yeah, you know what? I have so much respect for coming here and putting that on a super chat. For real. Number one, you've been here a minute. I don't think I've ever heard you say that you had a 30+ year habit. It's the first I've heard of that. Now, I have some cognitive decline. You may have said it before, but this is a place you can come and participate and never say that. No one here will ever know, right? You don't have to say that I'm working on something. You can just pretend that you're great, right? You got this completely under control. And it's tempting, isn't it? Because it feels good to be under control. It feels good to feel like you're the only one that's got your shit together. But when someone comes here and says, "Hey, you know what? This is what I'm doing. I was an addict and I went and saw some people." I love that. I do. One of the things that pisses me off more than anything in the entire world was the anonymous model, right? Narcotics Anonymous. Whatever we do, we don't want anyone knowing anything about this, right? You know what anonymous means to me? It means I don't put my name to it because I think I'm either going to get in trouble or I'm ashamed. I don't go anonymous for any other reason, right? I don't want someone to know I did this. Screw that. Sorry. I'm proud as shit of the fact that I'm sober. I'm not super proud of the stuff that I did when I was using, but what I've come back from, I beat a drug addiction that very few people beat. That's no joke. If you look at the statistics, I mean, you got a way better chance of losing that fight than winning it. About 99-1 or 90 or 98-2, depending on whether you're a man or a woman. It is really horrific, the success rate. And I did it. I'm proud as hell of that. I don't care who knows it. For real. I'm proud as hell of that. And I don't want it to be anonymous. I'm Tommy Skillville. I'm proud as hell of what I've done. And I love coming here and sharing it with you. I really do. But I love that. I love that you came here and said that. And I hope that specialist hooks you up. You know, I'm preaching to the choir, I know, but hey, you got to be your own advocate. You really got to talk to the specialist. You got to tell them everything. And if they go, "Oh yeah, I know what you mean," and when they repeat it back, it's wrong. Don't go, "No, you're wrong. Let me explain this again." Right? You have got to. This is when boundaries are the most important things in the entire world. Right? You're not gonna. If you feel any kind of way, you're gonna stand up for yourself, because this is literally the most important thing you could do. If you're going to see somebody, a doctor, for that kind of treatment, you better be really genuine. You better be really upfront, and you better say everything that is on your mind. You are the only person that can make this go right. I promise. No one else is going to advocate for you if you don't, especially with that kind of doc. Ah, I love you too, Lost Mittens. I really do. I'm so glad that you're here. I love that. You really do. I love that. Hey, being real is so much easier. You know what? Do you love that? And you never got to think about the BS that you said the day before, right? Never got to worry about what your last lie was. If you just go with the truth, right, and being real, there's nothing else you ever got to worry about. That's the payout right there. Sarah says, "Tommy, thank you for being you." And I am happy you're back in Tennessee with Reese. So am I. So am I, Sarah. I really am. It's it has been great to get back here. It really has. And you know what else? And I'm saying this because the number of people who have reached out to either me or Quibs, and sent text messages and emails and comments. You'll see the comments. I guarantee you've already seen them. Of people who are writing a comment and say, "You give me hope that this is possible. You give me hope that somebody out there, because I'm not young. I found this at 54. There's a lot of people, hey Justine, who say, this is a big deal. I love the fact that I'm sorry, hold on one second. There are people in my life I will never discuss addiction with, but not because I'm ashamed, because I know they aren't aware enough not to hold it against me. And you know something? This is a really kick-ass point. I'm sorry. Not only are they going to hold it against you, but if they don't, they can't help you. They can't. If you try to explain addiction to someone who's never been in, right? They're not going to understand it. What we do is not explainable. It's not. Everything we do is so stupid that if you're looking at it from the outside looking in, we look like we are learning disabled, like we really are impaired. I would get out of prison, right, after doing a long prison sentence for bank robbery and start back up. Why in God's name would you? I've been to prison twice, right? I know exactly what's going to happen if I try this one more time. It's going to put me back in prison. Why would I do it? Well, if you try to talk to family members who don't understand addiction because they've never been addicted, they want you to explain that to them. And you can understand why, right? They figure if you can explain to them why you would do that again, maybe you won't do it the next time. They just, the funny thing is if I go into a room with people like us, right, not normies, and I go, yeah, you know what, when I got out of prison, I made it about 6 months and then I started doing heroin again. Nobody in the room goes, why'd you do that? Everybody in the room just goes, yeah, yeah. Did you go full on, right? Were you chipping? How long before you were, back in prison and just effed your entire life up? Because everybody knows what happens, right? We've all done it. Matrix Rabbit says, I don't lie anymore. What a kick-ass sentence, man. I love that. I really do. I love that, dog. Love it. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Yeah. But Tommy, I can be honest and still not be fully me. I hide so much. Well, I beg to differ. I'm sorry. I beg to differ, Donna. No disrespect, right? I love you, but we're going to have to agree to disagree on this. If you're hiding anything, you're not being honest. Plain and simple. I mean, the definition of hiding something from someone is not being honest, right? Honesty is light. Honesty is, illuminating everything and leaving nothing in the shadows. Hiding is putting everything in the shadows. That's not being honest. When you get with a partner that everything, you can just lay everything out and dump the entire thing at that partner's lap, it's going to be a much different feeling. Really. Oh, Iced Autumn says there was nothing worse than waking up the morning after a blackout and not wanting to show my face because I had no idea what awful stuff I did or said the night before. Oh, awful. Thank God that's in your rearview mirror, right? That is so scary. Oh, wow. Lori Hart. Hey, Nico. Laura Hart, I love that so much. I can't tell you what that means to me. If not for the boat, I would not have reached out for help with my depression. Everything good flowed from that, and that came from here. Oh, wow, man. Oh, wow. Dirty Mouse, good to see you. That's heavy, isn't it? That is heavy. Chili Phil says, give me a tube of terror or an amnesia pepper over alcohol anytime. It gets you a way better buzz. I promise you, that pepper will give you a way better buzz. A lot less of a hangover. A little bit of calf cramps, but yeah. All right, people. I'm going to go and hang out with Quibs. I have everybody says that I look happier. Everybody says that I am happier. No joke, I'm happier. And there's a lot of people, Donna, that I don't trust too. And you know what? You don't have to trust everybody, but you got to trust somebody. There's got to be one person that you can open up to about everything. There's got to be one person that you don't hide anything from, right? Because if not, you're not you. You got to be you to somebody. Maybe that's why I look so happy. Yeah. I have a person that I am absolutely meet with, that I can say whatever I want, at any time, and I'm never going to be judged for it. Very similar senses of humor. We laugh nonstop. But there were a lot of people who reached out and said that you and Quibs have given me hope, right? And I think that that's one of the most beautiful things in the world. Honestly, I don't think anyone should give up hope. I really don't. If you've been on the boat for any length of time, a year ago, I was saying to people, there's no way. It's just not something I would even want to entertain in my life. It's not a road I would want to go down, blah, blah, blah. I'm really happy I'm going down that road. I really am. Thank you, Nana, too. She says, happy you're happy, Tommy. You deserve it. I like to think that we all do. I really do. I'd like to believe that we all do. But right now I'm feeling it. And I feel like I waited a really long time for this. So I'm going to live it up a little bit. I really am. I want you all to have a great night. I will see all of you tomorrow. Thank you so much for the support. I really do love you guys. Between now and tomorrow, when we all convene and meet back up, reach out and try to save somebody. And please go by Bacon Bits channel. Give him a follow and watch the interview that we did with I did with he and Sharon today. It was really a good time. It was a really, really a fun interview. And all right, people, I will see you on the next one. All right. God bless.